What the fuck?
Hello and welcome to Tastes Like Tea, a podcast in which I talk about myself. My name is Theo. Don't call me Ted. I've had a pretty fucking shitty day. I almost hurt myself. I kind of broke something. And I'm in pain, which is great. I don't know what the fuck happened. Either I slept wrong, my backpack is too heavy, or my job, the way I sit at my desk fucks with my neck. But whatever it is, it hurts to look anywhere but straight, which is great to be the only person in the household that drives. But hello, today is a day that exists, which is cool, I guess. I wish it didn't. That'd be better. But I woke up, felt like shit, been dealing with the pain all day. I'm really banking on my partner stepping on my back when we get home, which probably won't do anything, but who knows, maybe the pain will be redirected and it won't be as frustrating. Whatever the case, I've been in short temper all day. I haven't listened to anything but music, which is not normal for me. Normally I listen to like a book or a podcast or something, but just 8 straight hours of music, which is fine, I guess. I accidentally added every Tony Hawk soundtrack to my main playlist the other day, and it completely fucked up my algorithm, and I just found out, well, not found out, I added all of the songs. I found a way, like if you go to the playlist and just press add to playlist and uncheck the playlist that it's in, it takes out all the songs. So my algorithm's back and my music isn't, I love the Tony Hawk soundtrack, but when it comes to day-to-day listening, I listen to Tony Hawk soundtracks when I'm playing video games because, they're video game soundtracks. Anyway, that's a thing that happened. Oh my god. I'm doing a little drive along today. I'm not really supposed to be doing that, but I figure why the fuck not? I really don't feel like sitting here in pain in silence in a still car for 2 hours. So I figure I might as well do my errands. I gotta go to the pharmacy. And even though it's a waste of gas to go before my partner gets out of work, I'm not waiting until 5 p.m. to do it. When I could just do it now. My inhalers, they're important. Anythingbutted@gmail.com. This is a weird episode already, I know. But anythingbutted@gmail.com. Anythingbutted@gmail.com is it's an email you can reach me at. It's where you can contact me for whatever the fuck you want to do. I am a person that exists. I have thoughts, feelings, perspectives, experiences, etc. I talk about things, and no one talks back. So it's kind of a plus for me. If you want to ruin it, you can send something in. You can try and find a way to ruin my time on here. Not that, it's pretty, anyway. You could email me, you don't have to, that's the thing. I feel like, I really, this whole week in general just feels like I wish I was doing weekly podcasts. In fact, I'm pretty sure, there's a good chance that the episode after this is going to be officially, once a week, I think I want to do Fridays. We'll figure it out. I guess who's listening to a podcast to hear me talk about the way I make it? That's basically every episode at this point, just because I always start off talking about how I don't know what the fuck I want to talk about. Today, however, I actually knew what I wanted to talk about since yesterday. But yesterday I used my time to write, even though I fell asleep again, which is just great. It's a great, use of my time. But the fuck am I talking about? Oh no. Yeah, I knew what I was going to talk about today. In fact, I chose it yesterday because I wanted to actually do it yesterday, but it was it was downpouring and I didn't feel like recording with the rain blasting on my windshield because it would have been really loud. And, throughout the day I was jumping back and forth between what else I could do, and I realized that this is probably the best episode I could do today. I'm going to be talking about, I'm driving so I can't check. I'm pretty sure it's called One Dark Night. I really hope that's correct. I probably should have looked before, and my phone is up there. I can't even check. Oh man, if it's One Long Night and I'm saying One Dark Night, I'm going to be a little upset, but we're sticking with it. The film I'm talking about is One Dark Night. That's night with an N. This isn't a Batman film. This is an 80s horror flick that stars Meg Tilly, someone I am a big fan of. Everyone loves Jennifer Tilly, including me. Jennifer Tilly is fantastic, but my discovery of Meg Tilly, just in general, was a pretty significant swing, because it's something about her I find to be a lot more interesting to watch, even though there's way less films with her in it, and her films are I don't want to say they're all similar, but she kind of plays a similar character. But I guess that's Jennifer Tilly too, the breasted woman. But yeah, I discovered her through Psycho 2 when I was doing my run through of Psycho last year, and I was really happy to see her. I was like, who the fuck is this girl? I know who she, I've seen her face before, and it turns out it's because she's resembles Jennifer Tilly significantly. They're sisters, and they're I think they're half Chinese, I want to say. So they have a very distinct series of facial features that kind of it's a really cool blend that is very unique to them. There's very few people I can say siblings are uncannily look alike. I think the Baldwins are probably a good example of something. Anyway, Jennifer Tilly exists. I am talking about Meg Tilly today, though. I'm talking about One Dark Night starring Meg Tilly. I guess maybe I'll talk about the film first, because the film is actually kind of basic. It's like an 80-minute jaunt. It's a quick one and done kind of deal, and it's kind of basic in just its entirety. Other than it being other than the cinematography and the set design, it's kind of just a movie. If you want a super easy generalization of what it is, I think the best way to describe it is a House on Haunted Hill, which I've never seen before, but I'm assuming it's the I dare you to sleep in the haunted house on top of the hill all night, and if you make it, you win. It's one of those, you're proving you're brave and worthy of social interaction through sleeping in a haunted building overnight. Family Guy's done it. Everybody's done a version of this. It's kind of, I don't want to say basic, but it's simple. You tell someone to go somewhere and they do it, and it turns out, it's actually worse than the people who sent them in there thought it would be, because it's not just haunted, or it's not just the friends playing a prank. It's also the place is actually haunted, and it it has really cool, not cool, it's simple. I think I've jumped back and forth between basic and simple without actually deciding what it is. But One Dark Night is that. It's someone gets sent into a haunted building to spend the night to earn their way into being one of the cool girls. The film's core plot is technically not what you see the most of. The film's core plot is primarily, and I say you don't see it, but it's still technically the core plot because the whole film revolves around this non-significant scene or series of scenes that, I shouldn't say they're not significant. They're significant, but they're not. They're just not prominent. Like the House on Haunted Hill plot is much more like in your face. Like that's technically the A plot, but it only happens because the other plot is also happening. So Jesus Christ, either let me pass or fucking stay in the one lane. Like I'm trying to avoid saying hate again. I don't know if I said it in the last few episodes, but I'm really trying not to because I really don't want to. So the film revolves around a dead man who apparently learned how to give himself the powers of telekinesis. I'm sure the film explains it, at least to some extent, but I can't tell you exactly what happened. But essentially, the opening scene is a dead man's house with a bunch of dead girls in it. And do you see his body? I don't think you do. Oh, well, the whole building's like beaten to shit. Like the opening scene is just these girls. I'm pretty sure it's just a pile of dead girls, right? And then they're like, yeah, he killed her and then killed himself or something along those lines. But essentially what happens is he intentionally died, right? He didn't die in the process of giving himself telekinesis. He wanted to be dead because of whatever process he was going through makes it so that his telekinesis powers are stronger, enhanced, whatever the word is, or like whatever is actually happening, because he's dead. So like he has to die to become strongest, right? So he's basically just like, he becomes a corpse and he's dead. So they put him in a mausoleum. I always forget. I think mausoleum is the right term. The building with all the dead people cemented in walls. I'm pretty sure that's a monastery. So the dead guy gets put in there. He's a dead body, and he has telekinesis. I can't really explain to you how he activates the telekinesis if he's dead. I really can't get you there. But so then the thing you see the most of, Meg Tilly's plot. The reason I watched the film, Meg Tilly is dating some jock boy. He's wearing a Letterman's jacket or whatever the fuck they're called. Are they called Letterman's jackets? I never understood why they call. Anyway, jock guy making out with Meg Tilly, which generally, from her other films. And just kind of like her in general, she does not seem to be like a promiscuous type. I think that's the right word there. But this film starts off with her being like, yeah, she has a boyfriend. They're both really into each other. And Meg Tilly, who has the jock boyfriend, is trying to join the Cool Girls Club. I don't remember what they're actually called, but they're basically like mean girls in training. Not even in training, they're just mean girls, but they're kind of doing a mean girls thing. They have like themed jackets that they wear, and I think they call themselves the Sisters. Like they have some sort of gang name for being friends. Like and it's just these white bitches with I think there's a black girl in there, but there's these bitches that are wearing some pink jacket and going like, we're the sisters. But the leader of the sisters has invited Meg Tilly to go through their orientation to become one of the mean girls, one of the sisters. Except the boy she's dating, the boy Meg Tilly is dating, is actually the leader of the sisters' ex-boyfriend, who is just obnoxiously jealous and angry that this not cool girl gets to make out with her ex-boyfriend. She hates it. It's kind of a Carrie, sort of. The film in general is very kingy. You know, I don't think I'm gonna get into it too much, but this film really has a lot of different levels of like Stephen King stuff going on. I mean, you got psychic, you got a psychic woman, you got telekinetic zombies, and you have a bullied girl who ends up being kind of like the hero in a sense. You know, it's got that kind of thing to it, but the orientation, she's like, all right, Meg Tilly, you're on the last step to becoming a sister. You just have to watch House on Haunted Hill. No, they challenge her, like, you have to stay all night in the haunted monastery. Did I say monastery? I think that's the right word. I keep forgetting. But yeah, she's challenged. Her final piece of orientation to get into the sisters and become a certified cool girl with a jock boyfriend. All she has to do is spend a night in the evil mausoleum, where a bunch of people are buried, including this telekinetic guy. Yeah, so they send her in there. She finds a place to sleep. She has to sneak in, first of all. She has to like trick the groundskeeper into not kicking her out by like hiding. But she figures out how to stay, and she like holes up in the flower room. They have like a room specifically for trimming flowers, yeah, she just kind of holes up in there, rolls out her sleeping bag, and spends the night. Except, little did she know, Mean Girls, the sisters, are plotting to scare her. They're using the setting of the monastery as a place to scare Meg Tilly, and I don't really know if the intentions are pure to the point where she would have actually been let into the sisters by the end of the film, and it was just a way of the girl kind of like just finding a way to torment her before accepting her into the group. I don't really know. I want to say she probably wasn't going to be allowed in no matter what, but and actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, that's exactly what it is, because the whole thing is they didn't think that Meg Tilly would have the balls to go inside, because one of the sisters, which is the voice of Tommy Pickles, I can never remember her name, but I love seeing her in horror films because she's always in horror films as like some really, like, I don't want to say she's like horny or anything like that, but she just kind of always gives off that kind of like the same energy she gives off in 31. You know, like she's just kind of wearing like a tube top, and she has that voice, and she's doing her thing. But it's really fun to see her in it. But she's actually one of like the better characters. Not better in the fact of like I like her more, but because morally she's actually kind of understanding, which is cool. But yeah, she gets locked into the mausoleum, and the Mean Girl's like, all right, let's go torture her. Tommy Pickles is like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. I think I am done with this plan. I thought she was going to bail out, and we weren't going to let her into the sisters, but now that she's inside, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to scare this girl half to death. Like, I just wanted to have some fun. And the sisters kick her out of the group. then they proceed to, the two remaining sisters proceed to torment Meg Tilly in some pretty interesting ways. Like, it's just kind of like doing ghost visuals for her, and the film does a really cool thing where it makes the scare look real, in the sense of like because she doesn't know that the sisters are going to come and prank her. She just thinks she's in a haunted mausoleum. So when she sees a ghost-like figure, she sees it as if it's an actual ghost, and the film films it like it's an actual ghost. But then Meg Tilly will run away, and the illusion is broken, and their costumes are revealed to be just these two girls in costumes running around. It's a really cool, idea. But yeah, then, tormenting proceeds to happen, and Meg Tilly's, doing her thing, surviving, and then, oops, it turns out that telekinetic zombie man, he's been trying to break out the entire time. Throughout the entire film, you see his headstone, or whatever that cement block is that holds people in, like with his name plaque on it, just cracking and being pushed open. And finally, by the end, he explodes out. He finds a way to control other corpses, so it's just a bunch of like stiff corpses floating around attacking people, and it was really cool. I thought the corpses looked great, and I wouldn't say it was scary, but it was definitely a good watch. So yeah, I mean, let me loop back, I guess, because Meg Tilly is one of the main reasons I wanted to talk about this film. Mostly because I just read her book and kind of have like a little bit of perspective on her existence. I read her book, or listened to, but she narrated it, so it's, I think that's better than reading the book, honestly, because you get her actual like emotional inflections when it comes to the things she's doing and talking about. But song is Singing Song, or the book is called Singing Songs, and it's an auto-fiction novel, which I had to look up the word. That means that it's a fictional story that's intentionally supposed to be autobiographical. Autofiction. So it's a fictional story that basically represents exactly what happened in her childhood. This title of the film, Jesus Christ, the title of the book is called Singing Songs because that's one of her coping mechanisms, that she learned to sing to block out bad vibes. It's a pretty fucked up novel, and it gave me a lot of perspective into Meg Tilly as a person, and a little bit into Jennifer Tilly too. Not that I have anything like negative to say about her, but the whole point of Singing Songs is that Meg Tilly and her siblings were sexually abused throughout like the entirety of their childhood, like to like a distressing amount. Like, yeah, sexual violence is distressing in itself, but the amount of it and the consistency of it, and the leniency that was given for it, like, it's just a really fucked story. And reading through Meg Tilly's like Wikipedia page, just to kind of get a little bit more of like a broader glance at her, it says that she's like a huge spokesperson, that she spoke up, and like one of her whole reasons for being outwardly what she is that she like outspoke about the sexual violence she grew up against. But and I respect this choice for Jennifer Tilly, because I get it. Like, there's no reason, if you don't want it to entertain the fact that it happened. Well, I mean, it's a little fucked to say it that way too, but essentially Meg Tilly wrote her book, and she was a big, she was outspoken about her problems, and Jennifer Tilly seems to have not denied, but kind of like step away from the problem. Because, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's really weird, because, like, on one hand, you want someone with horrible trauma that's made it out, to kind of talk about it and kind of like show that they can tackle it, and kind of show just people being themselves in like a much more grounded way. But on the other hand, I totally understand not wanting to talk about it, and like why, like, you're a famous actress and someone's gonna be like, so tell me about that time you were molested. Like, no, that's not something that should happen. But I think there is a little bit of a weirdness with the fact that she doesn't talk about it, or didn't. I don't think she should be forced to talk about it all the time, but I think, assuming what I read was accurate, I think she should at least acknowledge the issue. Not that it nullifies Meg Tilly's experiences in any way in her story or whatever, but just kind of as like principle, So, that's just a thing, that I've been really into Meg Tilly, and I saw her name on YouTube on this movie, and I just I'm like, I gotta watch this. I gotta see what it's about, because Meg Tilly is awesome, and she's not in a lot. She's in maybe like a dozen films. I might be under exaggerating, but like, she's not in a lot of films. She was in Psycho 2. She was in Body Snatchers. This Long Dark Night. One Dark Night. Shit. Now I don't even remember what I started out saying. One Dark Night, Long Dark Night. I don't know. I don't know anymore. But she's just really interesting to me, and I like the fact that maybe it's the fact that she's a little bit more ambiguous than Jennifer Tilly when it comes to like her presence and things, because her face sticks out for being a Tilly. She looks like a Tilly, but she's so not the same person. She's quiet. She has these big eyes that, like, she has this look on her face that's a very, maybe mousy is a good way to put it. She has kind of like a mousy look to her, and it's not what you expect from, when you look at Jennifer Tilly. She's, breasts up and leaning up on somebody and being Tiffany or whatever. But yeah, she's always quiet. She barely speaks in the movies to begin with. She's always just kind of on screen with like a soft look to her. And she does that in this film too. Like, there's a scene right after they're like, you better grab your fuck, what am I talking about? Better grab your sleeping bag, because it's going to be an all-nighter. And the next scene shows of like, yeah, you're going to be sleeping in this mausoleum, and that's what you're going to have to do. And she's sitting there with like hugging her she's like hugging her fuck, I shouldn't have done that. I'm just going to go inside. Fuck that. Ooh, that was a killer parking job. Hell yeah. Some dude watched me do it. He's probably like, that guy's so fucking cool. I'm going to pause this real quick. I'll be right back. You won't hear anything, obviously. It's just going to be a quick jump. But yeah, I'm going to come back and talk about Meg Tilly's presence on screen. Oh, I did the same thing I did last time, and I got myself some sour rainbow strips. Gonna love that. So yeah, Meg Tilly has just like a very mousy presence, and I really appreciate the difference in like the vibe. And I find that she's utilized really well too. So what the fuck? Now that I'm back, I actually don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, let's see. She has a good presence. I just talked about the plot of the film. I talked about the ending. Yeah, I guess let's just talk about things I like about it. I mean, obviously I like Meg Tilly. I think her existence is great. She doesn't have a lot of lines for being basically the main character, but that's okay. I think the sisters were really good, except we got way too much of them. Like, way too much. The car I just was going to be behind if I jumped in line on the drive-through pharmacy is still 3 cars away from getting up to the window. So just as like a little example, if you're going to the pharmacy, just go inside. The drive-through, unless it's empty, you have no reason to go there, because whoever's there at the drive-through is, I 100% guarantee they're gonna be giving that pharmacist problems. But yeah, the film, you know, it's for 80-something minutes. It definitely felt a little too long, and I think genuinely it has to do with the sisters, because you know, as I mentioned, the film is technically about a telekinetic guy that killed himself. I didn't mention, but he also has a daughter who he gave psychic powers to. Like, she's kind of the most important person in the film, and she has like 2 or 3 scenes. I could almost imagine that they cut cut a lot of her scenes off, because it just seems like she needed to have more than what she was given. Once she showed up at the end, I almost completely forgot who the fuck she was. Like, yeah, she saved the day or whatever, but I'm like, who the fuck is this? Because she shows up at the beginning, she's kind of declared as a very important character, and then forgotten about, because we're watching Meg Tilly get tormented by these bitches, and we just spend too much time with the bitches. Like, we don't need that much extra time with the sisters. I think they have some good moments. I think they're great. I like, you know, they're obviously good actors. I mean, one of the sisters is literally Tommy Pickles. Like, she's an icon. I can't remember who the other 2 women are, but I think they're pretty significant too. They're kind of like in the horror realm. Yeah, like, you spend a lot of time with them, and it's not very fun. It's good characterization for what happens, but it also could have just been done during the scenes where they were tormenting her. Like Tommy Pickles could have bailed out mid-torture when she realized, like, oh my god, guys, we're going too far. They could have fought about the morality of what they were doing while they were doing it. All of their long conversations that didn't involve them actually doing stuff to Meg Tilly could have been done during the scenes when they were doing stuff to Meg Tilly. And because of that, the film just really drags on. And I've seen people I follow that I'm like really, like, you know, I talk to a lot and stuff, and, you know, they at least one person really loved those scenes with the sisters. But so it was just really interesting that I found it very unentertaining. But I would have much rather have had an extra half an hour of the film either added on or swapped with footage of Psychic Girl and her dead telekinetic father, because that shit was interesting as fuck. It's almost like, as I mentioned, it's kind of Stephen King-y the entire film. If they went harder on her part, oh man, the kinginess would have been off the charts. What am I trying to say? I mean, off the charts works, but I'm trying to blend 2 phrases together and it didn't sound right. And now I can't even remember what the 2 phrases are. So, Yeah, I think that's really where the big detriment of the film is, because it's short. It looks fantastic. That's something I haven't talked about yet. The cinematography and like sets are just so good. It might not even be sets. It might just be all location. It might just be a mausoleum that these guys just had access to, and they're like, yeah, let's make a fucking 4-person casted film in this. Like, why not? And it looks outstanding. I think a lot of the things that got me through the slowness of the film is that they consistently added beautiful images. So there were multiple times where it was like really slow, but you got really fantastic shots of these endless hallways of graves, essentially, like dead bodies. There's some great color usage in there, and it all just like ties together really well when it comes to visuals. And realistically, if I watched it again and had a little bit better expectations for kind of the slowness of the film, I think I could totally find myself liking it more, because there is so much to like. It's just they knock it down a notch by adding 25 minutes of these girls bickering to each other when they're not even the main characters. Neither of the main characters. They are quite literally the least relevant characters in the film. They're only there to think that they're going to be the ones that scared Meg Tilly, when really it's the telekinetic zombie dad and his psychic daughter. Like, the weird shift in focus just makes no sense to me, because anything that the film could have done with them, her, it, whatever, it could have been done better if just shifted around a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, the film is good. I really liked it. And it wasn't a waste of time or anything, but it definitely has its faults, and they might be redeemable, but I'm not sure. I think a complete recut of the film is probably more ideal. Yeah, I think that really kind of covers it. The music was great. I can't really think of anything negative to say other than the sisters. I really liked the dead bodies at the end. The finale was really cool. It's really interesting because since it's about telekinesis, right? It's not about reanimation. It's not about necromancy. It has nothing to do with bringing the dead back to life. It's using telekinesis to control the dead. And what are the dead? They're stiff. So the entirety of these scenes of these corpses being telekinetically thrown around, they're just literally like legs straight, arms straight down, touching their legs on their sides. Like it's very like Hannibal Lecter tied up to his stroller kind of thing. It looks I really liked them. I think they weren't scary, I'll say that. Like, there wasn't really many actual scares in this film, but it was fun and enjoyable to watch. And I really think that ending scene, although took a little too long, it could have either started sooner or had something else to kind of like drag us along that wasn't just these shitty girls being really shitty at scaring them, their friend to not be, or whatever. Yeah, I suppose that's it, though. I mean, oh, I'm parked now. Let me check. Let's see if I got the name of the film right. One Dark Night, right? That's what I've been saying. One Dark Night. One Dark Night. What do we got here? One Dark Night. I nailed it. 1982. Directed by... Yeah, I love that we're doing this at the 40-minute mark. Directed by Tom McLaughlin. The director of Sometimes They Come Back, which is, I think, where that kinginess comes from, because Sometimes They Come Back is a very Stephen King film. And also just good, So it's just a sign that Murder and Innocence? Why does that look like... rough. I don't know if I want to watch that. But yeah, I think that's it. That's One Dark Night, 1982, directed by Tom McLaughlin. E.G. Daly is the name of the voice of Tommy Pickles. Right, Adam West is in this too. I completely forgot about his parts. He is there with the psychic girl, so anytime she's on screen, he is. They're kind of like in their own little world. They're kind of doing their own little film thing. And Adam West is kind of a dickhead in that. It is great to see him, though. I don't think I've ever seen him that young, ever, without a Batman suit on. So it's just cool to see. Anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me. I'm a person with experience in life. Whatever that experience is, I can't really tell you, but we could learn together. You could email me if you want. You could make fun of me. I don't know. Whatever. My self-esteem isn't great this week, but that doesn't really matter because I suppose it's never really that great. It's just kind of when I focus on it. So yeah, I guess that's the film. That's One Dark Night, and that's the podcast. That's the episode. So I guess the sign-off is here. We did it. You have been listening to Taste Like Tea, a podcast about me am I'm me,